You're listening to CJSF 90.1 FM, online at www.cjsf.ca, broadcasting from Burnaby, British Columbia at Simon Fraser University. This is KP with another edition of This Week in BC Minor League Sports. Now, during this half-hour program today, we'll recap the finals of the BC Major Midget League playoffs as they crowned the 2013 and 2014 champion last weekend. We'll also take a look at some women's midget AAA hockey playoff action and also see what's new regarding collegiate athletics. Now let's get to the action. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, the BC Major Midget Hockey League is a league for 15 to 17-year-olds playing competitive hockey in the province of British Columbia. Now, all of the games are free to attend. The regular season ended earlier this month, and last weekend they played the championship finals where a league champion would be crowned. Now, all three games of this best-of-3 final series took place at the Burnaby Winter Club, with the number 1 seed Vancouver Northwest Giants hosting the second-place Okanagan Rockets, and the series began last Friday night, March the 21st. Now, coming in, the Giants were the 5-time defending BC Major Midget League champions, and they definitely were the league's hottest team down the stretch. Their last loss came on January the 26th, and then they went 9-0-1 in their final 10 games of the regular season before winning 4 straight playoff games to get to the finals. So in their last 14 games overall, 13 wins and 1 tie, no losses. Now, on the other side, the Okanagan Rockets are in the finals for the second straight year, so this is a rematch of last season's championship series. Now, the Giants won last year's finals in 3 games against the best of 3. So the Giants won last year. They won 3-1 in Game 1 with an empty net goal putting that game away. The Rockets won Game 2 last year on an overtime goal by Liam Finley, who is back on the team this year. Then the third game, the final game, the Giants won 1-0 to capture the 5th title in a row. So the Rockets, losing last year's finals, definitely were looking for revenge in this year's championship round. So some good things that bode well for the Okanagan Rockets this year. For the first time in club history, they had a winning record against the Giants during the regular season. Okanagan went 2-1-1 in the 4 games this year against the Giants and outscored them 14-11 in those 4 contests. The Rockets also finished just 1 point behind the Giants in the standings during the regular season, so these are 2 very evenly matched teams. And also, the Rockets were 13-2-3 in the final 17 games going into the finals. So just 2 losses in the last 17 games, but one of those losses was against the Giants, and also one of those ties came against them as well, as the Rockets blew a third-period lead in that one. As well, I mentioned earlier that Liam Finley scored an overtime goal for the Rockets in last year's finals. He's one of 7 players returning from last year's Rockets team. Now, remember, in this league, you have to be 15 to 17 years of age, so obviously some players had moved on or been drafted by junior clubs. On the other side, only 2 players from last year's Vancouver Northwest Giants team were back this year, with captain Quint Thompson and high-scoring forward Colin Kerfoot. So definitely the visiting Okanagan Rockets have the experience there with the 7 returning players compared to the 2 for the Giants. One other factor, I was at the rink for the entire series, and you expect, of course, the fans and the parents of the Rockets players travel from Kelowna to Burnaby to take in the action. And those cheering for Rockets, they were loud. I must say I was very impressed with them because they brought these signs with them that said "Go Rockets," and they plastered these signs all over the arena. They even brought these little bells that jingle. Well, these bells are just loud. Like the supporters were very loud as well for the Rockets. And every time the Rockets had a good chance to score, those bells went off, and every time the Rockets did score a goal, those in the stands were loud as well. I mean, it was just being in the stands. I felt like it was the Rockets being the home team, so they had that going for them. The crowd support. The Giants supporters were not as loud in the rink. Now, before Game 1, I had a chance to speak with Rockets general manager David Michaud at the rink. With David Michaud, the manager of the Okanagan Rockets. Congratulations on getting to the finals here against the Giants. So, thoughts about your series against the Valley West Hawks and the semifinals for those of us who weren't fortunate enough to go out to Kelowna to catch that series?
Well, KP, I mean, we knew it was going to be a very tough battle for our hockey team, and that was one of the things as a staff we talked about when we had that little slip up at the end of the year that cost us first place and home ice advantage. It also meant we knew that we'd have a very tough semifinal opponent in Valley West, and certainly not to take anything away from the Chiefs or the Canadians, who would have been the other matchup had we finished first. But we knew Valley West certainly posed some big challenges for our hockey team. So it was probably what we expected it to be when everything kind of finished up, and it was certainly a good battle. And I really tip my cap to Tom Spencer and Jesse and the whole group with Valley West. They played a whale of a series and certainly made us work for everything we had.
Now, how excited were you when that penalty shot went in with about 4 minutes left in the third period in the final game?
Yeah, you know what? It's one of those scenarios where obviously we thought we had a go-ahead goal and it ended up getting waved off, and then you saw the arm go up for the penalty shot call, and it's one of those things where obviously with a penalty shot you're not really sure what's going to happen, but Jake Kryski, we know he's a very skilled young man, and the penalty shot certainly is forte, so we had no hesitation to put Jake out in that scenario, and certainly paid off for Mac O'Rourke, our head coach.
And I understand as well, David, you guys suffered through some injury problems the last couple of weeks of the regular season, but you have only lost just twice in the last 17 games overall. So thoughts about the effort that your team is putting out there?
Well, KP, I mean, we talked about depth being probably the biggest thing for our hockey club this year. We felt that we had a team that was deep and experienced, and if we did run into some injury trouble, that some other guys would be able to step up and maybe take on a little bit more of a high-profile role. And hey, every hockey team battles through adversity and injuries, and certainly we're no different. But it was nice to see our guys sort of battle through that and put themselves in a position here this weekend where they can have some success as a group.
Thanks, David Michaud, for the interview, and good luck in the finals against the Giants.
Thank you very much.
Game 1 on Friday night, the first period was scoreless, with the goaltenders Tevin Grant of the Giants and Brandon Barry of the Rockets both making good saves to keep it 0-0 after the opening 20 minutes. Now, in the second period, with the Rockets on the power play, defenseman Tanner Brown scored 3 minutes in to put Okanagan ahead 1-0. It was his first goal of the playoffs. The Giants tied it when Quinn Thompson, one of the two returning players from last year's team, scored on the power play with 7.5 minutes remaining in the period. But just over 2 minutes later, the Rockets went up again 2-1 on Liam Finley's 10th goal of the playoffs, also on the power play, and Okanagan led 2-1 after 2 periods. And like I said, every time the Rockets scored or had the puck in the offensive zone, their supporters, the Rockets players' parents were cheering and ringing the bell. So definitely it was a very good playoff atmosphere. In the third period, the Giants went on the attack, but it seemed every time they had a chance, Brandon Barry, the Okanagan goaltender, was there with his glove, or the Giants hit the post. But anyway, they couldn't get the puck into the net, and finally in the last minute of regulation, the Giants pulled their goaltender for an extra attacker, but they could not score, and the Rockets win Game 1 by a score of 2-1, ending the Giants' 14-game unbeaten streak. So Brandon Barry, the Okanagan goaltender, finished the night with 41 saves. The Giants outshot the Rockets 42-32. Now, Okanagan became the first road team to win a game at the Burnaby Winter Club all season long. The Giants had gone 19-0-1 at home during the regular season and won all 4 games during the playoffs at home in the first 2 rounds. Now, the Rockets opted not to do the post-game interview after Game 1, and they wanted to do interviews only after Game 2, so perhaps on their side, they were confident that perhaps that they might be able to pull off the sweep I don't know, but according to the Rockets Twitter account the following day on Saturday, the team went to the Vancouver Canucks practice on Saturday morning before Game 2. So if you're into that kind of a storybook ending type of thing, you figured maybe they would pull off the sweep and have the players attend an NHL practice and perhaps get some added inspiration before the game, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously the Rockets don't make the trip out to the Lower Mainland, the Vancouver area that often, so a good opportunity for them to catch the Canucks practice since they're in town. Now, on the Giants side, they felt that they played well in Game 1, and they did. They fired over 40 shots on goal, but they didn't have any luck in terms of putting the puck into the net. I spoke with assistant coach Kelvin Cech on Saturday afternoon just before Game 2. We are with Kelvin Cech, an assistant coach of the Vancouver Northwest Giants. So a tough 2-1 loss to open the BC MML finals last night against the Okanagan Rockets. Thoughts on your team's play last night?
I thought we played a strong game. I mean, we put up a lot of shots. We had traffic to the net. For the most part, we executed the game plan that the coaching staff put in place. But just in the end, we didn't bury on our chances. They scored the 2 power play goals. So yeah, I mean, there's not a ton we want to change for tonight. A couple tweaks here and there that I think you would just do naturally, even if we had won. But yeah, I mean, we were happy with our team's performance, and we just got to bury our chances tonight.
Now, obviously, it was the same 2 teams last year in the finals as well, Okanagan versus you guys. Does it surprise you that this series is going to be close as well? Because last year, all 3 games were pretty close 1 or 2 goal games. More of the same this year, I guess.
Yeah, no, it doesn't surprise us that it's going to be a tight series. We said before the series started, there's a really good chance it could go 3. I don't think either team's willing to, I don't think either team is going to be swept in this series. So we're not surprised that it's tight. A lot of the same players, for them anyway, as last year. So we know the grit and the determination that guys like Liam Finley and Campbell and Wagner, and then a couple of their new players have. So, we were expecting it to be tight the whole way. It's going to be a tight one again today, and I'm sure it'll be tight tomorrow.
All right, very confident, Kelvin Cech. I assume you guys are going to win tonight. So good luck tonight in Game 2, and we'll see what happens if there will be a Game 3. Thanks so much.
Thanks, KP.
So in Game 2 on Saturday night, the Rockets supporters again were loud, and they got even louder when Tyson Joss scored just 2:16 in the first period, and it was 1-0 for Okanagan. And that was the way the score remained until early in the second, when Liam Finley scored his 11th goal of the playoffs just 1:30 into the period. It was 2-0, and the crowd was going crazy. Now, you figured that the Giants had home ice advantage because they're at home, but the Rockets, with their supporters in the stands, it must have felt like they were playing at home with the support that they were getting. But it was 2-0 for the Rockets, and they looked like they were on their way to winning the championship. But with 12:43 left in the second period, Tack Anhold scored for the Giants to cut the deficit to 2-1, and then Owen Stout scored with 3:58 left to make it 2-2. So suddenly it was a tie game, and the Giants and their fans were obviously relieved by that. During the time that they were trailing, Giants goaltender Tevin Grant made some big saves to keep his team in it. There were a couple of 2-on-1 breaks by the Rockets, but Grant made some huge saves to keep it close. So it was 2-2 late in the second period, and it looked like that's the way the score was going to remain. But the Giants took a penalty late. The Rockets went on a power play, and again Grant made a couple of key stops. But finally, with 48 seconds remaining, with Okanagan still on the power play, Carter Hikichi scored to make it 3-2 for the Rockets. So the Giants were deflated, obviously, but they kept pressing, and Captain Quint Thompson took a shot that went over the net, hit the glass behind the net, and bounced out and hit one of the Rockets players, and it went into the net. There were just only 3.4 seconds left when that goal went in. So it was 3-3 after 40 minutes. So a great comeback by the Giants, and obviously helped out by a fluke goal at the end there. They had the momentum, but in the third period, just 4 minutes, 58 seconds in, Jake Kryski scored for the Rockets to put them ahead 4-3. The Giants kept pressing, but Brandon Barry, the Rockets goaltender, kept making big save after big save, and it went down to the final minute of regulation. The Giants pulled their goalie, looking to tie the game, but the Rockets never even let the Giants really get set up in the offensive zone. The Giants never really had a good scoring opportunity, even with the actual attacker. The seconds ticked down, and the Rockets stunned the Giants 4-3 in game number 2 to complete the sweep. It was the first championship for Okanagan since 2005-2006, and also ended the Giants' 5-year run as league champions. So the final score on Saturday night, the Okanagan Rockets 4, Vancouver Northwest Giants 3, and the Rockets sweeping the series in 2 straight. And here's winning goaltender Brandon Barry, who finished the playoffs with a 6-1 record and a 3.14 goals against average. We are with Brandon Barry, the goaltender of the Okanagan Rockets. So congratulations for winning the BC Major Midget League Championship. Your thoughts on being a champion?
It's unreal. I knew we were going to do it from the start of the year. I love the guys on my team, and we love playing the Giants. It's a good atmosphere around here in the Beat Up Burnaby Club, and lost the words. So happy for my team, and I thought everyone played their best, and we have the most heart out of any team I've ever been on, and I love my team.
Now you came up big with a lot of big saves in last night's game to win the first game, and against Solid tonight in game 2. Thoughts on your own play in this series?
I felt good every day. I felt smooth. I felt ready to go. I was seeing the pucks well, seeing them through screens, seeing them catching everything, and I thought it was one of my 2 best games of the year. And I love intense games, and I played big in these 2, so that's what counted.
What was it like for you standing in goal as the seconds ticked down, and finally you guys clinched the victory?
Just lost the words. The guys came over. There's so much smiles. I almost felt like crying. It's the most happy I've ever been.
All right. Once again, congratulations, Brandon Barry, on being a BC Major Midget League champion, and now go celebrate your teammates.
Thank you.
And here's Kryski, who scored the game winner, and for the second straight weekend, he scored the series-winning goal for the Rockets. With Kryski of the Okanagan Rockets. So you are BC Major Midget League champions. Thoughts on that?
Well, obviously it's exciting. These guys went out last year. Obviously some guys on the team had some emotions about it last year, and coming out tonight to win it, sweeping them, was obviously a great feeling.
Now, was it surprising to you that you guys swept the Giants?
I mean, obviously we thought we had to come out strong. We thought anything's possible. We have a great team this year, and luckily we did it.
And you were hot in the playoffs in the series against Valley West in the semifinals. You scored the series winner on a penalty shot. Tonight you got the series winner against the Giants. Thoughts on your own play?
Well, obviously it's nice to do that, but it's all about the team, all about the team effort. Everyone played their game, and it was a well-fought battle.
All right. Once again, congratulations, Kryski. Go enjoy and celebrate with your teammates.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Finally, General Manager David Michaud. So congratulations on winning the BC Major Midget League Championship. Thoughts on tonight?
Well, you know what, it's something I'm incredibly proud of. You know what, I've seen the work that our group's put in since we got together in August, and to see it all sort of come to fruition here tonight in a very tough building to win. I mean, I couldn't help but look at the Giants across the way and remember that was us last year. So I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a little extra special being able to win our first one in a while here in this building.
Now, in fact, you won both games here at the Burnaby Winter Club, the only team to beat the Giants at their home rink.
Yeah.
Did you think that you were going to sweep the series?
No, I mean we figured we were in for another 3-game series. I mean, the Hawks, I think, really they pushed us to the limit last weekend, and we certainly didn't think that tonight or this weekend was going to be any different, KP. We knew that the Giants were a heck of a hockey team, and they were a great rival of ours, so in no way did we think this would get done here in 2, but you know what, to credit to the players, I mean, they believed in themselves, and they kept pushing hard.
Looks like they're ready to clean the ice, so we'll cut this interview short. Once again, congratulations, David, and being a champion. Good luck in Alberta.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And obviously, David Michaud was saying that credit to the players for playing well and winning the championship. Obviously, as well, I would like to add that a huge applause for their fans, their supporters as well, for making a trip to Burnaby to catch in the action and make the arena really sort of a home ice advantage for Okanagan, just because of the way they were cheering, how loud they were, and so on. And I wasn't joking in the interview there. In the corner of my eye, I saw, because we're on ice level, and the players and the coaches and the manager was they all celebrating on the ice along with the parents as well. So I was conducting the interviews right there on ice level. But in the corner of my eye, I saw the Zamboni coming around, waiting to clean the ice. So we had to cut that short. Obviously, very grateful that the players and David Michaud were able to do the interviews following the victory. So the Rockets now move on to the Pacific Regional Championship held this year in Alberta. You probably heard me say in the last part of the interview that I wish them luck in Alberta, because that's where they're heading after this. How this works is that the major midget hockey leagues across the country will send one representative to compete for a tournament that leads up to the TELUS Cup that will be played in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan in late April. In this case, in the Pacific region, the champions of the BC Major Midget League, the Okanagan Rockets, will take on the champions of the Alberta Midget Hockey League next week, and then the winner of that will move on in the tournament. So congratulations to the Okanagan Rockets for winning the BC Major Midget League Championship. Now, in collegiate news, Simon Fraser University Athletics will induct 6 athletes, a coach, a builder, and a team into the SFU Clan Athletics Hall of Fame on Monday, March the 31st. Late Clan football player and local hero Tim Jones will be the second inductee into the Terry Fox Honorary Inductee category, the first nominee following Terry Fox himself. Jones became the volunteer team leader of the North Shore Rescue, a mountain search and rescue team based out of Vancouver. He raised over $1 million to fund his rescue team's work and introduced helicopter-based long-line rescue protocols to the program. Jones also served as the paramedic in charge with the BC Ambulance Service as well. He passed away in January this year, but will be remembered by all the communities touched by his contributions throughout his lifetime. Meanwhile, the 6 athletes entering the Hall of Fame this year will be Harold Willers of track and field in the hammer throw, Sarah Maglio of soccer, Eugene Giorfi of swimming and diving, Ed Cernowski of wrestling, Andrea Snyder of basketball, and Jim Jardin of football. Meanwhile, legendary men's basketball coach Stan Stewartson will be inducted in 2014 as well, as will Dr. Jack Taunton in the builders category, and the record-breaking 2001-2002 women's basketball team, which won 35 games without a loss and were SFU's first Canadian intra-university sport champions. For the bios of all of the Hall of Fame inductees, go to athletics.sfu.ca for that information. The SFU softball team got off to a bad start this year, losing their first 19 games before they ended the streak last Saturday by sweeping a doubleheader from the Northwest Nazarene Crusaders. SFU won 3-2 in Game 1 of the doubleheader and then 8-5 in the second game. Jessica Goulet of Cambridge, Ontario pitched all 9 innings in the first game, giving up 6 hits and 2 runs with 9 strikeouts to lead SFU to its first victory of 2014. Danielle Raisin of Langley, BC went 3 for 4 at the plate with a run scored. Rachel Proctor of Surrey went 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored as well. Then in the second game, SFU got 5 strong innings from Mackenzie Bender of St. Albert, Alberta, who got the victory, allowing 3 runs on 3 hits. Goulet also pitched in that second game, allowing 2 runs on 3 hits in 2 relief innings, as SFU completed the sweep on Saturday. Now, for more information about the SFU softball team and as well as the schedule, please visit the website at athletics.sfu.ca. That's athletics.sfu.ca. Taking a look now at the BC Major at the BC Female Midget AAA Hockey, I should say. It's a women's hockey league, which, like the BC Major Midget League, is also for 15 to 17-year-olds. Again, that's the BC Female Midget AAA Hockey League. They had their semifinals last weekend. The West Coast Avalanche and the Fraser Valley Phantom played their best-of-3 series at the Langley Sportsplex. Fraser Valley was a top team in the league during the regular season with a record of 22 wins, 1 loss, and 7 ties in 30 games. The West Coast Avalanche, meanwhile, finished a regular season with a record of 12 wins, 14 losses, and 4 ties. So on paper, it looked like a mismatch, with the Phantom losing just 1 game during the regular season. But as it turned out, it was a very close series. On Friday night, the Phantom won 6-2 before the Avalanche pulled off an upset on Saturday night with a 1-0 victory to even the series. Again, this is a best-of-3 series, and so the Phantom, however, regrouped on Sunday morning and knocked off the West Coast Avalanche by a score of 5-1 to win that series 2-1. Now, obviously, the scores weren't close when the Phantom won. They won 6-2 and 5-1. But again, they were stretched to the third and decisive game, so we'll call it a close series, obviously. Meanwhile, in the other semi-final series, the Thompson Okanagan Rockets took on the Northern Cougars, I should say. So they took on the Northern Cougars in Prince George at the Kinsman Rink at Exhibition Park, with the Rockets winning 2-1 after losing the opening contest. The Thompson Okanagan Rockets won the last 2 games of the series by scores of 3-2 and 4-0. The league has a bye week this weekend, and then the final round of the BC Female Midget AAA playoffs will take place at the Langley Sportsplex from April the 4th to the 6th. Some information about the Female Midget AAA League. It was initiated in the 2007-2008 season to provide an opportunity for elite female hockey players to come together on zone teams to challenge other elite female midget teams. And since its inception, the FMAAA League has had over 50 players go on to play at post-secondary institutions in Canada and the United States. And for more information about their league, you can visit their website at www.bchockey.net/FMAAA. Again, that's www.bchockey.net/FMAAA. That's going to do it for this week's program. We hope you enjoyed the recaps and the interviews, and we'll talk to you again next time.
The Versus Festival of Words. 8 days, 30 events, over 80 performers coming to historic Commercial Drive, April 5th to 12th. Featuring East Vancouver favorites Ivan E. Coyote and Ray Spoon, Jeff Berner, C.R. Avery, Graham Clark, plus the Canadian Individual Poetry Slam Championships. Single event tickets and festival passes available now at versusfestival.ca. Follow along on Twitter at Van Poetry House, #VS14. The Versus Festival of Words.